the perfect's the enemy of good. And a lot of times with my profession, all I want is an iteration. And once I have a thing, I can work from that. And AI is incredible at giving me a thing. And if I say that's not the right thing, it's like, cool, but you can tell me the difference between what this is and what you want, right?
Whatever it is that's blocking you, whether it is a learning way you learn, whether it is an analogy style, whether it is a tone of voice, whatever it may be, AI is going to be able to meet you there. It really is a teacher that is you're giving feedback to, and it's taking that feedback and changing it instantly to help you learn better so that you can no longer say, I can't.
On today's episode, we're talking about that voice in your head, the one that says, I can't do this. I break down how AI has changed the game for learning new skills, solving real problems, and ditching excuses. Whether it's building a website, switching careers, or even running a marathon. Yeah, we went there. This episode is about using the tools at your fingertips to get unstuck and just start. No perfection needed. Let's be honest. Most of us don't even start something because we've already convinced ourselves we can't. I can't code. I can't switch careers. I can't run a marathon. I can't run a business. Whatever it is, there's this imaginary wall that pops up and it keeps us from doing it. Then someone else, someone with more time, more money, more brains, gets to do the thing that we wish we could do. But if I've learned anything recently, it's that this wall, it's just an excuse I made, and it's probably not even real. Here's what shifted for me. I've used AI to pull off things that I honestly thought I couldn't do. Now that I've seen it actually work, it's taken away all of my excuses. You can do this too. You can use AI to smash through that wall, not in a welcome to the robot future kind of way, but the actual practical stuff. Do you need a website? AI will help you plan it, write the copy, generate the art, and either code it yourself or choose a tool to make it. If you get stuck, it'll act like an instructor for you. It'll give you step-by-step instructions on what to do to make it work. And this isn't just for tech stuff either. It works for almost anything. Need to map out a new project or break a big goal into manageable pieces? AI can take a rough idea and get you to a first draft in an astonishingly short amount of time. I often procrastinate for much longer than it takes me to actually do the work. Remember, you don't have to become an expert at everything. You just need to be willing to learn. AI gives you a place to start. It gives you a draft, a plan, a chance to learn by doing without the stakes being so high. So for this episode, Julianna and I are swapping stories about those I can't moments. It's like making the jump from customer service to business analysis, or using AI to build a fitness plan that actually fits your life, or planning the perfect event with your friends, not some influencer's highlight reel. We'll dig into the prompts, the tools, and the mindset that shifts you away from the I can't to getting you moving. Step 1, right now, from the bottom of the mountain, not someday from the top. And it's not a pep talk. It's definitely not fluffy. It's the real, practical stuff that we wish someone had told us earlier. Let's get into it. Good morning, Julianna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for our conversation today. We always have some great combos. I know there's a topic that you feel, I don't know if passionate's the right word, maybe it's excited about, but why don't you go ahead and tell everyone?
It's passionate. The thing that is really interesting to me about the world that I live in right now is just how complex it's become. There's all sorts of amazing things out there. Every single day, somebody's telling you about, oh, have you heard about this? Or have you heard about that? And all these different ideas. And the problem for me is that there's so much out there that I can't do it all. I have to limit my scope in order to be able to be an expert at the things that I need to execute on. People
Mhm.
pay me to do things. I should probably be pretty good at those. And now I've got a tool that allows me to do literally whatever I want. And it removes pretty much all of my excuses to not go do a thing. And that's absolutely magical.
What kind of excuses do you usually give yourself?
Okay, so for me, it's the going from I can't do something to I can do something usually has to do with knowledge and experience.
Okay.
So I don't know how to code this particular language, or I've not set this up before, or I've not done this way before. For me, it's not so much like I need to have money to do a certain thing. I need to go here and live in the Bahamas on a boat.
Hmm.
It's more, can I build this computer program? Or can I write
Got
this
it.
algorithm?
Got it.
And some of the things that I've done are, related to, movement. Like, can't run as fast as I used to, or I can't jump as high as I used to. That's fine. Getting older sucks. But my brain works pretty good still. So I'm able to build stuff and I understand systems. And as I move through my career, I learn more about how stuff fits together. And I'm able to use that to help solve problems for people. So no excuses on not fixing people's problems, basically.
So a lot of the like, I can't do this, I can't do this, we see is that limitation of, well, I can't do this because I don't have the knowledge. I can't do this because I wasn't trained. I can't do this because no one taught this to me. And
Yeah,
what we're basically finding is that people can learn to do things by having AI teach them.
yeah, and there's two aspects that I think that are really important there. The first is they don't need to know it as well as they think they do. So
Okay.
there's the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, that a lot of people have heard about. If I have 20% of the knowledge, I can get 80% of the results. I think
Yeah.
that is incredibly applicable
Yeah.
to most of your life. And with regards to something I've heard over and over from my junior business analyst in the past and from junior developers is, well, nobody's told me how to do that, or I haven't been trained on that.
Mm.
And I think that they have not yet made the mental step to understand that someone has to write the training. And if you said, I don't know how to do that yet, or I haven't been trained on it, the person that is going to have to do that is probably me. And I would rather them explore how to do something themselves, because by performing that exploration process, by learning more about what they're trying to accomplish and know why they want to do it and how they want to do it, that in itself is an incredibly powerful teacher. I want to remove the excuses from people to go forth and do things. And that's where AI can come in.
Let's have an actual example of an I can't statement. So you choose an I can't statement that maybe is more tech focused, something in your life, and then I'll choose an I can't statement that's, like a little more fun. So if there's a listener who isn't in the tech space thinking about coding, but is
Sure.
saying, I can't run a marathon, as an example, and we can
Okay.
both break those down to how technology can help with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Um, the easy one for me is I can't build this. Like, the one that I hear so often is, well, I can't build a website. Everybody has a brand or has an idea that they want to do, and I need to put this website out there. Or I can't write some sort of code. So we'll start with that from my side.
Okay. And on my side, we'll say, yeah, I can't run a marathon. I've never been a runner, but I can't run a marathon.
Sure. So how do we want to break this down? Do we want to say what specific steps did I take to go from it? And
Yeah, yeah. So then say what you would do and what tools you would use or what prompts you would go through.
sure. For me, it would be clearly to define what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think often, like, looking at it from a perspective of a technologist, I want to say, okay, what am I trying to solve for? What does success look like? And once I have a clear understanding of what that is, I need to break it down into actionable steps. So we call that decomposing the problem. But from my perspective, if I want to, say, build a personal website, I need to say, okay, why do I need to build a personal website? I want to get my name out there, my brand out there. I have to ask myself a couple of questions. It's like, okay, well, do you have a LinkedIn profile? Yes, I do have a LinkedIn profile.
Hmm.
Will that work? No, I needed to do this. I need to promote this particular thing. Okay. What particular thing do you want to promote? Well, I'm not sure. Okay. Well, the people that visit your website won't be sure either. So typically I'm going to try to push someone to have a purpose for something before they actually go and do a thing. Because otherwise you're just adding to the white noise that's out there in the world. But if you have a reason to do something and it's a valid reason, you think, and all of us have our own ideas about stuff,
Hmm.
it can be valid to you, and the rest of the world looks at you and kind of scratches your head. But I mean, there are videos out there that have millions and millions of views that I just do not understand, but my children watch them over and over. I don't get it. I don't get it. So if you've got an idea, the first thing is, what is my idea? And
Yeah.
this is where people get stuck. And I think it's the blank page dilemma. Or if you're in a startup, or if you're starting your own company, it's the greenfield dilemma. So I've shown up and there's nothing. Okay, well, what would I do? Well, you
Mm.
figure out what you want to do next. It's like, well, crap, I don't want to do that. It's like, I don't know what to do. There's like somebody's supposed to tell me what to do. And you've got to figure it out. And before, it's like the explorer that crosses the river and says, I'm going to build a city here. And they had to have the vision of what the city looked like.
Right.
And I think that the problem is that we have this concept that we want to have the full thing fleshed out in our head before we can start doing anything. And I want to challenge that. There's
Okay.
this concept called Gall's law, and it's any significantly complex thing that works started with a much simpler thing that also worked.
I love that. So for your coding example, or you want to build a website example,
Sure.
you're going to go, all right, well, LinkedIn's not going to work, but I'm going to find a different platform. So after you find the different platform, let's say it's one that involves coding,
Sure.
is is it something where if someone's not a coding expert, they can then open up a GPT or a Gemini or whatever AI tool there is and tell them this is what I want it to look like? Like, how would you approach that? Would you build something in like a Canva and then feed it to a GPT and ask them for the Python code? Um, is
Well,
that something that an AI can do? Is that something that you would ask it to do?
yeah, but the question you have to remember to ask yourself is, why am I doing this?
Okay,
So there's a lot of different ways to solve your problems. And
sure.
again, if we're starting with that simplest solution in mind, say, does it need to have this? Does it need to have this? Like, I could go out and get hosting from GoDaddy or from something, and I
Mhm.
could find a place to deploy it. And then I could learn how to use their back end. And then I could figure out where to host the code, write the HTML, write the
Right,
CSS,
right.
write the, you know, get much more complicated than I need to. But or I could use a Wix page, or I could use
Mm.
a Square page. Is it Squarespace page?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
I'm
yep.
a huge proponent of Notion. I love Notion. I can even make a website on Notion, and it'll do the same things I need. And the difference is it's a very now thing. I can have something that works now without getting super complicated. I was
Right.
talking to a CTO in healthcare last night, and he said that when he took the job, the reason he took the job is that one of the board of directors for this company came and talked to him. He just ran into him somehow, and he brought up his problem, and he started saying how he would solve it. And it wasn't an interview. And this is, I think, at the highest level you get these jobs. A lot of times it's not because
Mhm.
you quote interviewed for them, but you had a conversation that kind of turned it into an interview. And with him, he was given a problem and he gave us a potential solution. And the thing that was so different was that the people that this guy had been talking to, this board of directors had been talking to, wanted to do like the full featured enterprise solution. Would have cost him millions of dollars to do, fully deployed, fully realized, everything is built out. But this was a startup. They didn't need that. They didn't have any customers. They were zero. Why do you need to build it out like you've got 100,000 people using your system when you have zero people using your system?
Mhm.
So his vision was to start small and then build it in a way that could scale. And that makes just a huge amount of sense for somebody that's trying to be really careful with where the dollars are being spent.
So he's really saying, I can't go in and do this $1 million project.
Well, you could, but you didn't have the $1 billion.
Right. Well, that's the big thing. The I can't is coming from, we don't have the budget. I can't do this. We don't have the budget. But what I can do is take it step by step by step. So if we were to go to my example, like running a marathon, first, my why is I'm not going to run a marathon. I've attempted several times, didn't even make it to the finish line, but it all comes down to training. Sure. And I think that this is a great example because most people understand sports or athletic ideas and chunking it down to athletics, where the idea is you cannot run a marathon without the proper training. You cannot run a marathon by just showing up to the start line. Now, I have friends who have done that. They are phenomenons, great specimens of amazing health. But all this to say is that, if I had to run a marathon, I'm going to break it up and do it really small. And when it comes to technology, there's things that I know about. So making sure that I go and get fitted for sneakers. And if you've ever been fitted for sneakers, they use technology, and it's older technology, but they use video cameras and they slow it down to see your gait, to see how your foot pronates. There's technology where you stand on a pressure plate and they see just how your foot is and where you hold the pressure to get the proper sneaker. Then to take it into newer things, I mean, there's so many different methodologies to training, and asking AI if you didn't want to buy a training plan. So similar to the website example you said, there's so many training plans out there, but technology is really great, especially AI, to say, this is what the weather forecast is supposed to be this week. This is the part of the city that I'm in. Maybe you're traveling out of town. Give me running routes. Give me running ideas. What should my runs be? And then even cooler, I was thinking about it, is you could probably say, I want to do a long run. So I want to run 10 miles today, and I want to make sure every mile is a 13-minute mile. What are some songs that keep the cadence for that? And then use that information to go and build a playlist. So I think that is kind of cool that, you have a CTO of a healthcare company who is basically looking at it saying, I can't do what I want to do, but I can do it by figuring out the problems and going iteration kind of wise. But then also in your own life, you can say, I'm crazy and I want to run a marathon. And now I have a lot of technology that's going to help me, versus maybe 25, 30 years ago when it was just, okay, put on your Nikes and your sweatpants and go and do it.
Well, let's talk back and go into specifics. I just prompted AI and I said, "Hey, look, this is how we're talking. We're going to solve it." It's like an example for a fun idea is, I want to run a marathon. I don't. Yeah. It's like, help me plan from go to a sedentary to marathon ready in 6 months. And then AI gives you simple marathon training programs, couch to 5K to 10K to half marathon pathways, weekly breakdowns, mileage, rest days, recovery. And then it says, adapt to personal constraints. Like it says, in this case, I'm X years old, work full time, and have no current cardio routine. I've got 17 pieces of titanium in my foot. These sort of things are, these are constraints. So what is your weekly time commitment? Injury prevention strategies, rest and recovery protocols, cross-training options, swimming, cycling, walking, all of these things.
I think that when we talk about those constraints and those reasons of being I can't, one of the things to remember is your AI or your technology, it can change on a hat. So you had said it off camera. It's a professor in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
You're now saying, okay, I need an injury prevention for my IT band because I have a weak IT band.
Mhm.
And it's going to instantly prompt back with, these are the exercises I found for you to do to help with IT band industry. And I go, well, I know that if I were lost 10 pounds of body fat, I would probably be a more efficient runner. What is a diet that I can do throughout this to help me with fat loss to increase this? And it's instantly going to come back. And it really is I can't run a marathon because I have my IT band injury. I can't run it because my clothing, right? Like
Sure.
what is the best sports bra to use? What are the best socks to use, right? I
Yeah.
always get blisters. What are the best blister band-aids? Like I can't. And it's almost like this accountability of partner being like, well, you can, this is just what you have to do.
Well, take it the next step. So after that, it stopped with the last bit. There's a couple more things I want to cover because I think this is the actual guts of it. Turn it into a system, add metrics and feedback loops, add
Mm-hmm.
support systems, and then stress test the plan. So it says put it into something that you track. I cannot stress enough how important that is. If you start documenting things, if you start putting it into something you can actually track and execute on, it changes the way that you perceive it.
Mm,
Like if you're trying to lose weight, that 10 pounds, you start tracking the food that you eat, you start tracking your exercise.
mm-hmm.
There's apps for that. It'll suggest the apps you use. And then after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month, after 2 months, you start seeing patterns of what works and what doesn't work for you. And if you're keeping track of that over time, you're able to have those feedback loops in place, see that this is working. You do have the metrics that prove that it's working. It starts building confidence in you. And
Right.
then it's talking about adding support systems. It offers to act as a virtual coach for you, encourage you, challenge you, track streaks. That's good, but I would also, I'd recommend talking to people as well. But
Yeah.
it's a mindset shift. It's a paradigm shift from the I can't to I can, and it'll guide you to that. But you still have to do the work.
I'm really curious taking this idea of I can't, and how could an individual who wants to change industries,
Sure.
so let's say they are a customer service representative and they want to get into a different industry. We can say it's IT. We can say it might be project management. It might be being a business analyst. How can they use this idea of I can't? So I can't be a customer service rep and go be a business analyst,
I got you
right?
because this is
But
a great.
how can they use this idea of I can't and technology to build the skill or use technology as a way to train them and let them at least skill up or get experience or break things down for them to clear that path to um, changing careers.
I think we're in an amazing place right now. It's an inflection point, if you would, in technology and careers. I think that in the next 5 years or so, 10 years at the outside, a lot of the way that we work will have shifted, and it's
Mm,
going to be we've kind of reached one of those iPhone moments. So in
right.
January 2007, Steve Jobs walked out on stage with this block of metal and glass, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to change the world." He did. You don't remember phone numbers anymore. You don't remember how to navigate anywhere. You've got this thing that is basically part of your brain that sits in your pocket every day.
Yeah.
And you literally feel like a part of you is missing if you leave the house without your phone.
Right.
So I think that you need to think in terms of what is AI going to mean for the workplace. I've helped multiple people make that jump from customer service rep to BA. The thing that happens there is I go and talk to managers. This is big corporation because I
Mm-hmm.
was specifically looking for people in operations that knew how the systems worked. They knew how their systems worked. And I said, give me your two best people. And I got them on a documentation project. And that got them thinking about outside of just what their day to day work was to start expanding the scope of their knowledge within the organization, take a more holistic approach to it. They
Mm-hmm.
became go-to people for their existing management structure and functionally became analyst for them. And then I made a clear path to take them over to corporate to hire them into that environment.
Sure. But for
Anybody
the
can do
people
it,
who don't have the Berts in their corner,
but you can do
uh,
it yourself. I just gave you the path.
yeah.
The path is find out what your managers need that they don't have,
Okay.
understand what's lacking in your systems, and figure out a way to do that. The question is whether or not they're going to recognize it and promote on it,
Hmm.
or if you can use that as leverage to interview for the next job. So
Okay. And if you
if
don't have that skill, maybe using
yeah, AI,
technology as a way to coach you.
exactly. And I think it could be something as simple as, in customer service jobs, a lot of times I don't see good documentation.
Mm,
There's clear paths of how you're supposed to respond to certain things. And you see
sure.
more and more where you've got basically phone mazes that are trying to get you into them, get you to the right person, and AI is trying to get you to the right person. And I joke about this. It's like I wish that any Fortune 500 company head, especially of all the banks, would have to call and interact with their own customer service at least once or twice a year. It's like you're in this giant maze and you might find a minotaur. So I you laugh about that, but it's not a great experience and it pisses
Yeah.
people off. So, from a value perspective, how do I make the experience better? How do I take ownership and learn about what I'm actually doing? And if my own company won't promote me now, how do I identify what skills that I could gain that would be for the job that I do want in the place I am right now and have them pay for it? If you have access to AI personally or with the company, use it. It is incredible how powerful it is. And there's all these problems that they're not thinking about because they're still afraid. They don't know what they're going to have to do. They don't want to piss people off. They don't want to have to navigate the treacherous waters of legal. They don't want to have to navigate the treacherous waters of I'm going to fire people or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. You have to be looking forward. You cannot assume that it's just going to keep the way it is right now. That's, I think, one of the biggest human problems. When you grow is when you're challenged.
Hmm. Right.
So I've got all of
Well,
these people who are happy to derp along. If you're happy to derp along, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
well, I'm going to ask AI later today. I can't figure out what I want to eat and see if it will solve my problem for me.
Oh, it's crazy. Ask it for something bonkers. Like you need to have a Brazilian infused African diet.
No, I'm just going to be like AI. I don't know what I want to eat today. Gemini, ChatGPT. I don't know what I want for dinner tonight.
Sure.
My boyfriend's asking me where do I want to go out to eat, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can say I've really enjoyed this. It's like, what ingredients do I have?
Yes. Yeah.
Do I want to cook? Is it raining? Those sort of things.
Yeah. But
Give it some constraints. If you leave it too open ended, AI struggles.
yes, but I do think but I do again think it's a very interesting take of figuring out where you can use AI as your accountability partner.
Yeah,
And because the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And most people, yeah, you said it earlier, most people get overwhelmed and they can't figure out where to start, even with that one bite. And telling it to someone, a lot of times when your friends give you advice, you don't want to listen. But when you have a neutral party like a GPT, they are going to say, okay, you can't do it. And you're telling me you can't cook because no one ever taught you. Let me teach you. Let me
yeah.
write instructions for you so that you understand how to make tomato sauce.
How to
You
go from
want me
burning
to,
water to
yes, you want me to explain to you why we're putting salt in the water and have an analogy of cars to explain it. I can do that for you. And
sure.
really, whatever it is that's blocking you, whether it is a learning way you learn, whether it is an analogy style, whether it is a tone of voice, whatever it may be, AI is going to be able to meet you there. It
Yeah,
really is a teacher that is you're giving feedback to, and it's taking that feedback and changing it instantly to help you learn better. so that you can no longer say, I can't, I can't, I can't.
Yeah, I think our excuses are gone. I hate that because I like excuses sometimes,
Ugh,
but
it's
my
raining. I
excuse,
can't run the marathon. It's
I
raining.
can't do it. It's too hard. It's too annoying. But the thing that's so amazing about it is that we get so focused on the perfect, and
Yeah.
the perfect's the enemy of good. And a lot of times with my profession, all I want is an iteration. I want a
Hmm.
thing, and once I have a thing, I can work from that. And AI is incredible at giving me a thing. And if I say that's not the right thing, it's like, cool, but you can tell me the difference between what this is and what you want, right?
Yeah.
And you can. And the risk is lower than you think. The difficulty in understanding how to go from where you're at to where you want to be is that you do have to start somewhere. And a lot of people are afraid to do that start. So just start and you go,
Just log on, create yourself a free AI account and play around.
just start. And I promise you, it's not as scary as you think. It's not going to take over the world. You don't have to wear a tinfoil hat to use it.
Well, Bert, another great episode where I feel a
Absolutely.
little triggered because now I can never tell you I can't.
Well, yeah, I don't like it either, but my excuses are being removed like rocks from a stream and the water is flowing faster and faster.
Well, as always, a great episode, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Juliana.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit our website at www.acceleratinghumans.com, or you can reach out to me at bert@acceleratinghumans.com. That's BERT @acceleratinghumans.com.